Here are the Young and the Restless spoilers for next week, when Daniel makes a self-discovery. Here's a look ahead at the episodes we'll see from Monday, August 11th to Friday, August 15th, 2025. Next week on The Young and the Restless, Michael Damian is back as Danny Romalotti. Sitting in the park, Daniel catches Danny up on what he's missed since the last time he was in town, especially with his musica and spending time with Tessa learning how to play the guitar. The problem is that a few days ago, Daniel was able to be there for his friend as well. But amidst Tessa's separation from Mariah, she has become closer to Daniel. Although they've just been friends, Tessa put her hand affectionately on his arm, and Daniel realized it had been a while since he'd been close with someone. Danny smiles as he listens to his son describe his feelings. "It sounds like she's starting to mean more to you," Danny says. Daniel seems to surprise himself by admitting, "I'm afraid I'm starting to develop real feelings for Tessa." Jack was startled when Billy shared that he had met with Cain and he wants to go after Jabot. He was even more taken aback when Billy told his brother that had his conversation with Jill gone sideways, he might not have told him anything. Regardless, he assured Jack that he would never turn on him. Jack tells Diane what is going on, but he's not so confident in his little brother. While they have a plan, Jack tells his wife there's one big problem. "It requires that we put all of our faith, and perhaps the future of the family company, in Billy's hands," Jack says apprehensively. Earlier this week, Victor suggested to Lily that she didn't avoid Cain as she had planned, and instead, she got closer to him to find out what his strategy was in Genoa City. Lily didn't see another option, noting if not her, then who? But Cain wants Lily back. How far is she willing to go to get him to let his guard down with her and get the information? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. YNR spoiler alert. Here are your teasers for The Young and the Restless for the week of Monday, August 11th to Friday, August 15th, 2025. Be sure to tune into CBS every weekday to see how everything plays out in Genoa City. Jack seeks out Victoria's help. Sharon worries about Mariah. Lily delivers bad news to Holden Phyllis. Shares a secret with Daniel Audra. Covers her tracks with Nate Clare. Takes matters into her hands. Victor retaliates against Cain. Nick loses his cool with Billy. Jack received an unexpected invitation. Victor recruits Nick to take down an opponent. Cricket asks Lauren for a favor. Daniel makes a confession to Danny. Sharon sees a new side to Nick. Cain makes a promise to Lily. Adam loses patience with Chelsea's loyalty to Billy. On the August 7th episode of The Young and the Restless. August 7th, Claire confronted Audra. Lily contemplated spying on Cain, and Adam asked Victor about his plan to pit Cain against the Abbotts. Audra unloaded on Sally at Society about what went down in France. "You have no idea," Audra told her pal as she sipped on a drink. She told Sally that she set a trap for Kyle to compromise him, and then Kyle ratted her out to Victor. Audra added that Victor yanked his funding for Vibrante. "Now I'm left with less than nothing," Audra sighed. Victor wants to be repaid for the money he invested. Sally said ouch, but she asked her pal what she thought was going to transpire. Audra wasn't happy that Sally was going to throw in an "I told you so." She started to leave, but then Sally urged her not to let a good gin and tonic go to waste. Audra decided to stay. Sally pointed out that Victor does what Victor wants. She added that Audra may have underestimated Kyle's love for Claire. Sally asked Audra if she truly thought she could convince Victor to give her another chance. "There's an art to seduction," Audra offered. Sally noted Victor wasn't known for his patience. Audra quipped that Kyle's in love with the way Claire looks at him with her big, boring eyes. Audra maintained that she and Nate were fine. Sally pointed out that if Kyle or Victor told Nate what almost went down, she'd be the one who was out. Audra said Nate will never learn what happened in Nice. She shared that Kyle kissed her when she was down about Damien. Sally suggested to her pal that she walk away. Audra countered that nobody ever got anywhere by playing it safe. Sally wondered why Audra couldn't let it go. Audra said it was because she had lost Vibrante. She wondered how she could tell Nate her company was gone. Sally suggested that she tell Nate it was her choice to exit Viburnate. Audra wasn't sure that adding another lie was the way to go. Sally let Audra know that Billy was teaming up with Cain to get Chancellor. Audra asked where that left Sally. Sally said she made sure to protect herself. She got Billy to sign Abbott Communications over to her if Billy got Chancellor Industries back. Audra was impressed. Sally wasn't sure Billy was going to go for it, but her devotion to Abbott Communications changed her mind. Sally asked Audra to come and work with her. Sally said that Cain has a plan, and that was good enough for Billy. Sally said she'd at least be COO if not CEO, and that she could convince Billy to take Audra on as an employee. Audra said Jack and Diane could shoot down her joining Abbott Communications. Sally said that might not be an issue. Audra thanked Sally and told her she was one of the few people who saw her for who she is. Audra said she loved Sally for her belief, but she just needed to figure out her next move. Then, Kyle and Claire arrived at Society. Sally spotted them and suggested to Audra that she get another drink. Audra wasn't worried about Claire, but Sally suspected correctly that Claire was in the know. Kyle urged Claire not to confront Audra, but there was no stopping her. "I know what you tried to do," Claire stated. Sally tried to play referee as Audra coyly pretended not to know what Claire was talking about. Then, Audra went on the attack. She called Kyle pathetic. Audra admitted the phone charger story was made up, but that Kyle was lying to her otherwise. "You're a fool if you believe him," Audra said. She added that Kyle was definitely in her room. Audra maintained that Kyle willingly participated in the Vibrante Vroge Jabot idea. Claire asked why Audra was doing this. Audra pointed out that she and Kyle were once involved and that he came on to her in Nice. Kyle claimed that wasn't true. Audra urged Claire to open her eyes before it was too late. She told Kyle he couldn't decide which woman he wanted. Sally opted to exit and took Audra with her when she left. Kyle asked Claire to tell him she did not believe Audra. At Newman Media, Adam asked a colleague on the phone to hold off on the hit piece on Billy and asked about the Dumas Cain story. He was interrupted by Claire and Kyle. Claire said she was there to make a deal. Adam couldn't imagine what deal he'd make with Jabot Cosmetics. He asked Claire how she was doing in light of losing Cole. Claire said she wasn't going to worry about Victor. Adam said that standing up to Victor would take courage. Claire didn't care if Victor wasn't happy. "I'm going to live life as I see fit," Claire stated. Claire said that Adam selling her his home wouldn't be doing business because he was family. He added he doesn't want to sell Claire and Kyle his place, as it would anger Victor. Kyle said he could offer Adam some business if he came through. Adam asked why his place was so important to them. Claire quipped that she liked the view. Then Victor appeared. He asked Adam if Claire and Kyle knew that his place was not going to be available to them. Victor asked for time alone with Claire. She wasn't interested based on his treatment of Kyle. Claire walked out with Kyle behind her. "Was just trying to help her," mused Victor. Adam suggested to his father that he accept young love and let go of trying to get rid of Kyle. Victor told Adam that Cain could destroy the Abbotts. Adam told Victor he would stand by his family, but pointed out that Victor's plan could push Claire further away. Victor said he knew what he was doing. Then Victor called Cain. "You and I need to talk," Victor told Cain. At Crimson Lights, Lily wondered what Cain was trying to accomplish. Devin said that Cain wants to get Lily back into his life. Lily said all she can think about is Damien's body on a stretcher. Devin said he recalled when Lily and Cain were deeply in love. He pointed out that Cain offered himself as a hostage to save Lily's life when Carter had a gun on her. Lily held firm on her position with Cain. Lily asked if Devin was thinking of Hillary. Devin said he thought he'd never come back from that. Devin said he was lucky to find happiness with Abby. Lily said Cain should not have come back to Genoa City if it was so hard to see her. Victor entered and accepted Devin's invitation to join him and Lily. Victor asked about Abby and Dominic. Devin says Dominic is still asking when Chance is coming by to feed the ducks. Victor asked Lily if she knew Cain was in town. She said yes, and she was trying to avoid him. Victor threw out that that wasn't a good idea. Lily disagreed and wondered if Victor wanted her to spy on Cain. Victor asked her to think about it, as Cain may come after Winters, along with Chancellor Industries. Victor pointed out that since they all want to get rid of him, it might be a good idea to find out what Cain's plans were. Victor suggested that Lily make Cain think he could have a future with her. Esther gave some treats to Devon and Lily. They confirmed to Esther that Dumas was Cain. Esther said she could offer them more free treats, but asked them not to tell Sharon. Devon asked Lily if Victor got to her. Lily said she was suspicious of Cain. She recalled Damien being kind. Lily said she would always hold Cain responsible for Damien's death. She couldn't spy on Cain for Victor, but couldn't help but think that Victor had a point. Devon said there were other ways to find out what Cain had in development, where Lily wouldn't have to put her life on the line. Lily wanted to know if Devon thought Winters was vulnerable to Cain. Lily admitted that she was thinking the situation through. Devon urged her to listen to her gut. Lily pointed out that Cain was up to more than buying up properties. She expressed concern about Maddie and Charlie, and them falling for Cain's wealth. Devon advised against Lily letting Cain think that she cared about him. Lily wondered if that was the only thing that could stop Cain. Esther pointed out that Lily and Devon hadn't touched their muffins. She wondered if it was the grief. Esther took the muffins and packed them up for Devon and Lily. Devon pointed out that Cain was the smartest person in the room. Lily said it'd be worth interacting with Cain to get the information. Devon said nothing is worth Lily's safety. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Lily Winters may kiss Cain Ashby to sell a phony fresh start. Will real feelings complicate Lily's twisted plan and make her new mission more difficult than she anticipated? In Y&R's August 7th episode, Lily assured Devon Winters that a Cain reunion wasn't a possibility. Since Lily is still struggling with her emotions over Damien Cain's demise, she acted like Cain was a monster and ruled out a romantic reconnection. However, Devon was quick to point out that Cain and Lily were head over heels for each other once upon a time. Even now, it's easy to see that Cain's love for Lily is genuine. It's Lily's renewed love that'll be fake if she moves ahead with Victor Newman's latest suggestion. Victor thinks Lily is in the prime position to get Cain to open up to her. Lily might be the only person who can truly gain Cain's trust, so Victor pushed her to exploit that and hopefully score valuable intel on his shady plans. In order to pull that off, Lily will have to pretend she's willing to give Cain another chance. If Lily can offer Cain some hope for their future together, she could potentially score the intel she's after. Of course, the problem is that Lily's in denial about what's still in her heart. Cain has changed in many ways, but there's a familiar spark between them that Lily won't be able to ignore. The more time Lily spends with Cain, the stronger her feelings are going to get. Lily could be setting herself up for trouble by being overconfident in her ability to resist her former flame. Lily may end up going on some dates and even kissing Cain as she tries to convince him their new beginning is possible. That could make a mess for Lily if memories rush back and she feels the same sizzle she used to feel. The Young and the Restless spoilers say the lines may blur between what's real and what's not for Lily. So stay tuned for all the complex romantic news to come. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that 3 storylines may be brewing for Victoria Newman. So let's talk about what's next now that Cole Howard is gone. Y&R has a chance to take Victoria in some interesting new directions, so here are some hot plots that could be on the way. There's been a thaw lately in Victoria and Adam Newman's previously strained relationship, so that's been nice to see. Things are still awkward, but Victoria has acknowledged Adam's evolution as a person and seems to have faith in his family loyalty now. The show may build on that progress if Victoria and Adam have to work together as a team against some growing threats. Cain Ashby intends on going after all the major Genoa City power players eventually, including Newman Enterprises, so both Adam and Victoria will be highly motivated to protect the family business. Victoria may throw herself back into work and have to trust Adam on whatever teamwork might be looming. Adam and Victoria's truce could turn into a family alliance that's a big win for the Newmans. Of course, Victoria will need another romantic partner sooner or later. Although Victoria loved Cole and is currently still grieving him, she may be ready to move on sooner than anyone expects. Victoria has already been leaning on Nate Hastings, who accepted her support as well over the grim Damien Cain news. Once Nate's relationship with Audra Charles blows up, that could lead to him rekindling his romance with Victoria. Perhaps Victoria and Nate's reunion could bring a renewed love story that'll give Victoria some new material for many months to come. Next, some alarm bells may go off for Victoria when it comes to Claire Newman and her worsening mental state. Viewers have already been seeing a more intense version of Claire lately, but she could really go off the rails once she finds out the whole truth about Audra and Clare Abbott in Nice. This is certainly a situation to keep an eye on, considering Claire's unhinged past and stint in the psych ward. Claire could revert to the sinister mentality that Jordan taught her and turn dangerous again sooner or later. That could give Victoria a great story to work with as she tries to save her daughter and pull Claire back from the brink of insanity. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Victoria will make some intriguing updates to her life in the coming months, so stick with us for more news on her future. The Young and the Restless spoilers preview video for the week of August 11 to 15 reveals that nervous Lily Winters will climb aboard Cain Ashby's American train while Jack Abbott makes a scary confession. YNR's weekly promo kicks off with Danny Romalotti, who says it sounds like Tessa Porter is starting to mean more to Daniel Romalotti Jr. "I'm afraid I'm starting to develop real feelings for Tessa," Daniel admits in the preview clip. While Daniel wrestles with what's in his heart, Jack will make a confession of his own during a conversation with Diane Jenkins Abbott. After Jack updates Diane on Cain's goals in Genoa City, he'll spell out the scheme to have Billy try to bring Cain down from the inside. Of course, Jack will acknowledge that there's a problem with this plan. Since Billy is such a wild card, Jack will understandably worry about the whole thing resting on his unreliable brother's shoulders. "It requires putting all our faith and perhaps the future of the family company in Billy's hands," Jack says in the weekly preview video. While Jack shares his fears with Diane and tries to put some trust in Billy, Lily will prepare for a private meeting with her former flame. It turns out Cain will give Lily a warm welcome when she shows up on his American train, which will finally make it to GC. "All aboard," Cain declares with a smile in YNR's latest promo, though Lily looks anxious about this meeting and what it will entail. There'll be more to the story when it comes to the nerves Lily's dealing with. It looks like Lily will move forward with pretending Cain still has a chance with her romantically. That could be Lily's ticket to scoring valuable intel, so stay tuned for any news on her renewed romance charade and the false hope she'll potentially offer. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Lily could make a mess, especially if her real feelings for Cain become too strong to ignore in the coming episodes. For years, Genoa City was a memory Tracy Abbott had carefully locked away, a bittersweet melody of a life she once lived. Her quiet departure had left a void, but time had seemingly smoothed over the past. Now, whispers are turning into headlines. Tracy Abbott is coming home. While the rest of the Abbott family prepares for a warm, if curious, reunion, one man feels a storm gathering on the horizon. For Cain Ashby, Tracy's return isn't a homecoming. It's a reckoning. The truth is, Tracy's disappearance was never just about a broken heart. What no one in Genoa City knew was that when she left, she wasn't just fleeing from the pain of Cain's abandonment. She fled to Paris to secretly give birth to their son. Their affair, born from a literary collaboration, was a brief, shining moment where Tracy felt seen and chosen. But Cain, lost in his own grief, vanished without a word, leaving her not only shattered but pregnant. Now, a decade later, that secret has a name: Gabriel. He is a quiet, watchful 10-year-old with his father's eyes, and he is beginning to ask questions Tracy can no longer deflect with half-truths. He wants to know his father. Driven by her son's need for identity, Tracy returns not for revenge or reconciliation, but for the truth. The confrontation was inevitable, but its delivery was devastatingly simple. In the Abbott living room, she looked at the man who had erased her from his life and told him he had a son. Cain's reaction wasn't denial, but a cold, calculated acceptance. He acknowledged the possibility, but made it cruelly clear that while he would meet the boy, there was no room for Tracy in the life he had built. Whatever they once shared was a mistake he had long since moved past. The fallout was immediate. Jack was furious at Cain's callousness, while Ashley remained pragmatic, focused on what came next. But it was the sight of Gabriel that truly leveled Cain. Seeing his own reflection in the boy's calm, intense gaze shattered his composure. For the first time, Cain was confronted with a consequence he couldn't charm or manipulate his way out of. In a moment of raw vulnerability, Cain broke down, apologizing not only for leaving, but for forcing her to carry the burden alone for so long. Tracy, ever dignified, simply told him that the only way to make it right was to be honest with their son. In a quiet, tentative meeting, Cain introduced himself to Gabriel, not as a perfect father, but as a man willing to try. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was a beginning. Tracy never expected a fairy tale ending, but as she watched her son finally connect with the father he never knew, she realized she had accomplished her mission. She had brought a painful truth into the light, giving her son the gift of his identity. In doing so, she was no longer the woman waiting in the shadows. She was a survivor, and she was finally free. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that we have to ask, does Y&R need a handsome new detective to replace Chance Chancellor and handle the next crime that comes along? Chance's sudden demise sparked outrage for many fans who felt like the character shouldn't have been killed off. It definitely added to the shock of all the drama in Nice, but now we're left with some issues in the aftermath. Floyd was leaving anyway since he had another job lined up over on Days of Our Lives. But that doesn't mean Chance had to go. Some viewers feel that Chance should have been recast, for the sake of keeping him around as a detective if nothing else. There's no denying that Chance's grim fate leaves a void when it comes to having an inquisitive detective on canvas. What happens the next time there's a crime and someone needs to be arrested? Y&R might want to think about filling that Chance void sooner rather than later, especially considering the secret Mariah Copeland is keeping about the stranger she smothered. If Mariah ends up getting arrested and thrown in a jail cell over that news somewhere down the line, it'd be good to have a detective on hand for the case. Of course, they could always hire some random cop day players at the GCPD, but it'd be better to introduce a handsome new detective that fans can truly get to know. Perhaps it's time to start thinking about adding a fresh face to the show and letting him take Chance's place when it comes to the hunky detective who gets the job done. If they bring on an actor who's a hit with fans, maybe he could even be used for more personal stories and romantic pairings. Regardless, the CBS soap has a serious detective problem now that Chance isn't around to handle cases anymore. Are you hoping they'll correct that and bring on a dreamy new detective in the not-too-distant future? The Young and the Restless spoilers say some criminal activity may be just around the corner, so stay tuned for updates on all the shady surprises to come. Thank you, Young and Restless. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, we were super icked out when the show had Victor pimp out Audra in exchange for his financial backing of her new company, and we were deeply upset that she went along with it. But the character came to a major turning point in the August 6th episode, delivering a speech to Jack that was so sharp, we were surprised that it didn't draw blood. In an instant, we felt like, oh, whew, Audra is saved. This is the take no prisoners, don't try to BS me Audra that we've always wanted and occasionally glimpsed. It all started when Nikki, nose in the air, told off Audra as if she herself was someone who'd never executed a plot. Then it was Jack's turn to read Audra for filth. She let him have his say about how despicable she was to try to break up Kyle and Claire for a cash grab in Victor's wallet. But then she let loose in freaking spectacular fashion. And what? Kyle is just this lost little lamb with no free will? She quipped. But by all means, Jack, defend and protect your adult son from the very scary woman. You know, actually, why don't you give him another title at Jabot? Or another division? You should build him a house, hand him another trust fund, protect him at all costs because I'm the villain here, she concluded sarcastically. How terrifying for you all. Not to put too fine a point on it, but Audra's speech was straight up money. She refused to let Jack act as if Kyle, who slept with her before his marriage to Summer was over and has a child with Tara, who was hitched to Ashland when Harrison was conceived, was some naive Boy Scout. Furthermore, Audra touched on something that often aggravates us about Young and Restless, The fact that 99% of the characters are Richie Riches who never had to work for what they have. Kyle, and for that matter, Billy, Nick, Victoria, Abby, and Lily, were born in the executive suite. Cain got rich off of Catherine's largesse and his father's schemes. Devon was adopted by the affluent Winterseas, and then, on top of that, inherited zillions from Catherine. So we love the idea of someone on the canvas who is more like the next Drusilla or Ryan McNeil, a have-not who has to scratch and claw and do whatever it takes to get where everyone else in town already is. Go, Audra, we say, and score one for all of us have-nots. The winds are shifting in Genoa City, and beneath its glossy surface of power, wealth, and perfectly curated facades, something dangerous is brewing. The return of Cain Ashby hasn't just stirred the pot, it's threatening to flip the entire board. Once a man known for playing the villain, Cain is rewriting his own narrative, and this time, he's not settling for anything less than total control. Cain didn't come back to Genoa City for closure. He came back for conquest. Ruthless, strategic, and with an agenda cloaked in mystery, he's targeting the very foundation of the city's elite. But Cain knows better than to wage war alone. Power in this town is a currency, and to spend it, you need allies who understand that loyalty comes second to leverage. Enter Phyllis Summers. No stranger to backroom deals and subtle sabotage, Phyllis has always been dangerous when underestimated. Cain sees her not just as a potential partner, but as a weapon, calculated, fearless, and always 2 moves ahead. With the Newmans and Abbotts wrapped in their own family dramas, Phyllis is poised to strike from the shadows. But not everyone is as predictable. Billy Abbott remains a question mark, impulsive, emotional, and unwilling to be boxed in. Cain knows that aligning with Billy could swing the balance in his favor, but trust isn't a card easily played. For now, Billy watches from a distance, unsure of Cain's true motives, and whether joining forces would be salvation or self-destruction. Meanwhile, another piece on Cain's chessboard is making moves of her own. Audra Charles. Her recent failure to sway Kyle Abbott wasn't just a romantic misstep. It was a calculated risk that fell apart in full view of Victor Newman himself. The fallout? Audra's credibility is in shambles, and her financial lifeline from Victor has been unceremoniously severed. But no one counts Audra out for long. She survived worse, and she knows the value of reinvention. What she didn't expect was a call from Cain. Despite her public fall, he sees the power behind the persona. Her insider knowledge of Newman Enterprises, her ability to navigate volatile corporate waters, makes her a dangerous asset in the right hands. When Cain reached out, the offer was simple but loaded with intention. Join me. Help me reshape this city. You want me now? Audra asked, masking her curiosity with ice. After everything with Victor, with Kyle? Cain's gaze didn't waver. Because you're still valuable. You've seen how the Newmans operate. You know where the cracks are. I don't need perfect, I need strategic. Audra paused, weighing the opportunity. What exactly do you want from me? Young and the restless sees Claire Grace Newman fuming over Victor Newman, plotting with Audra Charles to ruin her relationship. I suspect Claire is not going to take this lying down, and will not only stick with Kyle Abbott, but may punish those that tried to break them apart. This week, Claire and Kyle see Audra chatting with Sally Spectra at Society, and she can't wait to get over there because Claire is determined to confront Audra. She storms up and tells her she knows what she tried to do with Kyle in France, and she knows all about Audra's dirty deal with Victor. Meanwhile, an upset Audra calls Kyle pathetic. She insists to Claire that Kyle really was in her room in France and was flirting with Audra while they were away. And I mean, that stuff is true. Let's be clear on that. I think Kyle absolutely overstepped by kissing Audra. That was a cheat move. But what's crazy is Audra seems to think that Nate Hastings isn't going to find out any of this. Sally already worried to her that Kyle or Victor might tell Nate, but Audra is so certain that's not going to happen. While I don't think either Victor or Kyle will go running to Nate, I 100% expect he's going to find out, and he's going to find out soon. Kyle says that he hopes Claire didn't believe what Audra said. We're going to see Claire glaring, but in the end, she's most likely going to believe Kyle over Audra. I just don't think Claire's going to let Audra get into her head too much. You know, she survived crazy Aunt Jordan, so she can survive anything. And Claire's pretty sharp. Also, this week, Adam Newman turns down Claire and Kyle when they ask to buy his apartment. So, that's one more thing that has annoyed Claire. One more thing, she blames Victor for trying to mess up in her life. I think Claire's pretty much at her tipping point with both of them. I'm expecting to see her furious and taking hits at both Audra and Victor so that she can let them know nothing is going to break up her and Kyle, and that Claire is willing to make them pay for trying to break her heart so cruelly. She already told Kyle it really bothers her that her granddad, Victor, was so willing to hurt her just to prove that he's right and what he wants matters more than what she wants for her own life. We know Claire is already determined to prove to Victor he can't control her. Claire told him she's had enough, and she walked away after Cole's funeral and told Victor she's done. Meanwhile, Victor was totally brushing off Victoria Newman and Nikki Newman's concerns about what he did. I mean, Victor is either so clueless or so egotistical, or both, that he thinks Claire has no right to be upset, and she should accept that he knows what's best for her. But Kyle and Claire are moving full steam ahead on living together. So, moving in with Kyle is the first move I think Claire makes to clap back at Victor and to show her defiance. But Claire may not stop there. She says she wants nothing to do with Victor. If Nikki is defending Victor and trying to justify his actions, you know, Claire might snap and quit Chancellor. She might walk away from her job and go work with Kyle over at Jebot. If not Jebot, maybe Marchetti or the retro division that Diane Jenkins is running. Any Abbott-related job would do to stick it to Victor because he would hate to see Claire on Team Abbott. And of course, she loves working with her grandma Nikki. But Claire may want to send a very strong, "screw you" message to Victor. And walking away from Chancellor would absolutely do that. I bet Victor's head would explode if Claire not only moved in with Kyle, but went to work for Jack Abbott, or Diane, or Kyle. Of course, that would complicate things for Victor because he wants to use Cain Ashby to destroy the Abbotts. Actually, it might just give Victor more reason to try and work with Cain to destroy the Abbotts. So, unbeknownst to Victor, Jack, Kyle, and pretty much everybody, Cain's gunning for Jabot along with Newman Enterprises and Chancellor. I feel like Claire might hit at Victor personally and professionally, and moving in with Kyle would do it. Getting closer to the Abbotts would do it. In the end, though, whatever Claire decides to do about Victor, her anger at him is going to be a lot less fiery than her rage at Audra. One thing I will say, Claire appreciates that the Newmans welcomed her despite her upbringing, despite what she did to target them. So if Victor came to her and apologized, then Claire might drop any thoughts of a vendetta on him. But Audra, that's another story. Claire's not going to drop that. If she really wants to make Audra pay, then she needs to go straight to Nate and tell him about Audra's sketchy, dirty deal with Victor. Claire can factually tell Nate that Audra took money to seduce Kyle. That would probably make a lot of sense to Nate. He has smelled something off about this deal that Audra made with Victor from the start. I think Claire will be nice to Nate when she tells him, because she knows he's grieving Damien Cain's death, and Claire really likes him. But I do also think she will tell Nate because she likes him. Claire thinks Nate deserves much better than Audra, so Claire may think it's a kindness to just tell Nate the truth about Audra before he gets in any deeper with that woman. Another thing Claire could do to get revenge on Audra would be to humiliate her in the business world. Audra's already lost the chance to start her company, Vibrante, before it even got off the ground. Victor actually wants the money he paid her back, so unless she finds somebody else to fund her, Vibrante is dead. Claire could let everybody in town know about the shady deal Audra made with Victor, basically selling herself for startup money. Audra may have to take the job Sally offered at Abbottcom because Claire may blackball any chance Audra has of getting a job anywhere else in town. If you remember, Audra was already having trouble finding work after Kyle fired her. That's why Audra was in a desperate state when Victor approached her. Then again, I also call this karma because if Audra hadn't betrayed Tucker McCall, she wouldn't have been in that position and would have still been running a major company on Young and the Restless. Claire might even ask Adam to run a scathing hit piece on Audra about her losing Vibrante. Adam might do it. Even though he can't sell Claire and Kyle his apartment, He might think that it's okay to run front-page news trashing Audra. I doubt Victor would care, as long as Adam left his name out of it, because Victor can't stand Audra and never could, even when he was working with her. Victor would probably laugh if Audra was publicly tarnished like that. We'll see how it goes, but I don't see Victor and Audra getting away with targeting Claire and Kyle. I think Victor has forgotten who Claire is, who raised her, and that she's a schemer and a plotter who was trained to get vengeance. But I do think, lucky for Victor, she won't stay mad at him for too long. Unlucky for Audra, because she's going to be in the crosshairs. In the recent episode of the CBS soap opera, The Young and the Restless, aired on August 8, 2025, Cain asked Phyllis to take on a risky hacking job targeting major companies in Genoa City. Meanwhile, Billy faced a tough choice: expose Cain or work with him to gather information. Victor pushed Cain to focus on Jabot, offering his support in a plan to bring down the Abbott family. At Society, Jack warned Billy about teaming up with Cain, but also suggested using the chance to sabotage Cain from the inside. Elsewhere, Adam and Chelsea argued about Billy's possible role in Cain's scheme. Adam wanted her to side fully with the Newmans, but Chelsea hesitated to condemn Billy, raising doubts about where her loyalty truly stood. In Cain's suite on The Young and the Restless, the day started with another call from Victor, asking to meet at the ranch that night. Before leaving, Cain had a slightly flirty but calculated talk with Phyllis about trust. He told her to hack into the servers of Jabot, Newman, Chancellor, and Winters for a secret job, but didn't reveal the full plan. At the ranch, Victor quickly pushed Cain to target Jabot instead of Chancellor. He promised full support if Cain agreed to go after the Abbott empire, framing it as a joint effort to bring them down. Cain listened, weighing the benefits of Victor's help against the risks of changing his plans. At Society on The Young and the Restless, Billy told Jack about his tense phone call with Jill, who said she knew Cain's real identity as Aristotle Dumas and had connected with him over Colin's death. Billy explained that Cain's bigger goal was to gain power by targeting all of Genoa City's key players. They then discussed Phyllis's part in Cain's scheme. Jack worried that Billy might betray the Abbotts, but Billy promised he never would. He admitted, though, that joining Cain's camp could be useful. Jack urged him to take the offer and gather information to use against Cain. Their talk shifted when Phyllis showed up and overheard enough to question Billy's motives. She claimed Cain's offer to him was no longer available, but Billy didn't believe her. Wanting to know the truth, he decided to talk to Cain himself. At Crimson Lights on The Young and the Restless, Adam told Chelsea he was worried that Billy might be working with Cain, which could hurt Newman Enterprises. Chelsea said Victor had every right to protect his business and didn't mind using Newman Media against Cain. When it came to Billy, though, Chelsea wanted solid proof before judging him. Adam doubted they could get that, but Chelsea thought she might convince Billy to open up. Adam grew frustrated and urged her to face the truth and side with the Newman family. By the end of the day, the battle lines in Genoa City were still unclear. Cain's secret hacking plan, Victor's careful manipulation, Billy's possible undercover role, and Chelsea's cautious view of Billy all showed a tangled web of alliances forming. It's time to reunite Nick and Sharon on The Young and the Restless. A passionate kiss following a harrowing experience in Nice may spark a move fans of The Young and the Restless have long been waiting for regarding a long-separated super couple. Thankfully, the time is finally right to reunite Nick and Sharon permanently. The pair, who fell in love when they were teenagers, have a long, complex history that dates back to their first meeting in 1994. Over the decades, they've married and divorced, parented 3 children, faced obstacles and tragedies, and had their share of affairs and relationships with other lovers. Yet throughout it all, Nick and Sharon's bond has remained strong. They've always been there for each other in times of trouble and turmoil. Never has that been more true than over the past year. When Sharon's meds were tampered with, and she was wrongly led to believe she killed Heather, Nick was the one she confided in. He was the one who refused to believe it was true, knowing Sharon wasn't capable of murder and ultimately helping to prove her innocence. Later, when Sharon was abducted with Phyllis, Nick spearheaded the campaign to find and rescue her. When Nick and Sharon were taken hostage in Nice, he supported her through another kidnapping ordeal. When Nick was critically injured trying to escape, Sharon returned the favor. She cared for Nick and ultimately got the help needed to save him. Once again, the duo proved their complete loyalty and devotion to each other, that they were each other's ride or die, the one person they could always count on through thick and thin. All of the above has brought the couple back together in a poignant and powerful way. It's enhanced the strong friendship they've forged over the years and opened up the potential for more, namely, for the former spouses to embark on a romantic relationship again. Having Nick plant that unexpected kiss on Sharon before they left France gave longtime fans of the couple hope that they might finally be headed for a reconciliation. The timing is perfect, given everything they've endured together and supported one another through over the past year. It's proven that neither of them will ever love anyone as much as they love each other. Nick and Sharon are true soulmates who deserve another chance at happiness, and hopefully, it won't be too long before they finally get it.